Right then. Good evening, everybody.
Evening all.
Yes, we're back. We're
We're
back from Fred
It
Olsen.
seems like I can't even think how long it seems like since we've done a live. Months, it seems
It
like.
does, because we had to miss it, didn't we, on
We
Fred,
did.
because of the Wi-Fi. But it's lovely to be back and lovely to see so many of you in the comments already. So we're here to talk about, obviously, our Fred Olsen Cruise and anything else you want to ask us. So anything about cruising, anything about us, please pop them in the comments. Sean's here. And so it's always lovely to say, if you have a question, please start it with a question, because it gets very quick in the comments and we can spot it.
Yes,
So
and I'm hoping the little eye on our screen that says there's no people watching is lying to us. So if you can see, it's changed. It's as I spoke, it changed. There's three. There's three watching.
I got lots of things on my list in my book. Now I need you all to remind me to look at my book, because I have all these
she's
things.
Asked me to remind her, and she knows that she's wasting her
I
time.
get so excited about talking about stuff and all answering all the questions, I forget that there's other things that we want to say. So and then we say goodbye, and then I look at my book and I was like, oh gosh, we haven't said anything. Anyway, so one thing I do want to say is that we're catching up with Sean on the weekend. We're looking forward to. We're off to Edinburgh, and I've just noticed that we've got a little. Oh, Nick and Tracy have given me £20 to spend on Sauvignon Blanc, because it's my birthday on the weekend, and we're heading off to Edinburgh to catch up with Sean and Elaine, who are our patrons, and also some friends we haven't seen for 15 years. So thank you, Nick. That'll come in very handy for the weekend.
It will. It's a big old week, because it's 3 years today that Carole last pulled on and then pulled off again her nurse's uniform.
Yes.
It's 15 years on Saturday that I first started my own business, which imaginatively is called P&C Cars. It's all P&C in our house, P&C Cars.
Yes.
That was 15 years ago on Saturday. And
yes.
And on Sunday, it's Carole's 40th birthday.
Yes, sort of. 58. Hard to say that, isn't it? But anyway, so yes, so it's a great.
It's not
week.
as hard to say as imaginatively.
No, that's exactly right. So yes, so we got an exciting week ahead. So thank you, Nick and Tracy, for that. It'll go down well on the weekend. So
well, in all fairness, Sean said he's taken us to a pub that's so good value, £20. That might buy you 3 bottles of wine in that.
3 bottles? Gosh, I won't be standing after that. Anyway, let's go straight to the questions. So if you've got any questions, as I said, pop them in the comments. So Lynn's asking, question, welcome home, loved your updates. Your cabin was amazing. Are there different classes of the balcony cabins, or are they classed as just balcony suites? There are, Lynn. There was a lovely hotel manager called Paul on Bolette, and he kindly gave us access with Jana, wasn't it? Jana. To look at 8 different categories of cabins. So when we get to do our Fred videos, which is after Japan and Aurora, then we'll be showing you all those. And they start off with a balcony, a balcony junior suite. There's a balcony junior suite and a balcony suite. And basically what that means is the balcony junior suite is just in a not so midship position. So you're either at the front or the back. So that's the cheapest way into a balcony. Then you've got the balcony suites. Then you've got a premier suite. Then you've got the Olsen suites. So there's also, they call them terrace cabin, isn't it, Paulie?
It's a terrace cabin, and it's got the biggest balcony I've ever seen on a cruise ship.
Yes.
Because your balcony is the entire promenade deck.
Yes.
Because your door, it's a sliding door.
It is a sliding door.
Say, it doesn't go like that. It's a slider. And you slide your door open and you walk straight out onto the beautiful teak promenade.
Yes. Now, wonderful promenade deck.
I would imagine this would be the best thing since sliced bread for some people and the worst for others. We did bump into a fella when we were doing...
Well, there was a guy, because outside the doors...
I almost said that.
No. Well, you didn't bump into him. I bumped into him.
I did bump into him when I went past, because Carole makes me walk around the promenade deck doing the time lapses. You walk around the deck and I'll just take some photos. And then when I come back, she's usually in the same place.
Anyway, this gentleman, I said, do you mind me asking how you're finding that cabin? And he said, do you want to have a quick look in? So I peeked through, and it's the same layout as a balcony suite, but obviously, as Paul said, you go straight out onto the promenade, and he was loving it. He said it's just amazing. You have 2 lounges that are reserved. Obviously, there's no privacy, but he was really, really enjoying it. I said, what can people look in? And as with the picture windows, the outside cabins, unless you popped your nose straight up to the windows, then you can't. So that was, and I thought, oh, I'd really like to try one of those, but apparently they get booked up, and that's why we couldn't do a tour of one, because they were all booked up.
Because the first thing I said to Carole, when I didn't bump into the fella, obviously because I was too busy working, was I suppose they must be good value for money, but apparently they're as, if not more, expensive than the sort of balcony equivalent. And when you say about privacy, you haven't got any privacy when you're led by the swimming pool. So it's just obviously, and like our cabin, the balcony, which was ideal for Norway and it'd be good for sort of less sunny climes, was covered. So you couldn't really lie on your balcony anyway.
You would get sun at either end of the day because it had such an overhang on deck 7. So you did get sun in the morning and the afternoon. But in the day it was shaded, but we like that because we're not sun worshippers. So it depends. If you like sun, then it wouldn't be ideal for you. However, all the cabins that we've seen were really good, and configurations where you can have doubles and you can have twins, because I know on Balmoral, which is another Fred ship, the beds are fixed. But that's a great question, Lynn. So thank you so much for that.
I'm not going to give the game away, but like Carole said, we did 7 or 8 cabins.
Yeah.
And there was only one cabin that we didn't like.
Yeah.
That
we said we wouldn't want to stay in there.
It'll be quite easy to see when you watch them which one it will be, and it's not necessarily because it was inside or whatever.
No.
The cabins, I have to say, across the board were pretty damn good, weren't they?
Yeah, totally. So Barbara's just saying hello from a very wet, miserable Highcliffe-on-Sea. Weather been here today, hasn't it? It's been torrential and wet and horrible.
Carole went out today with one of her besties who she used to work with.
Yes.
And they go garden centering.
We do.
And
coffee and cake and plants. What more could you want?
And she came back with a gnome.
I did.
She came back with a wobbly gnome. If you'd have said to me today, right, when Carole goes out today, what's she going to come back with? There's going to be 3 items. I would have guessed at maybe some sort of plant, but she came back with a bundle of kidney bean sticks. Runner bean sticks, a plant, and a wibbly wobbly gnome.
He's fab. I love him. I put him by my blue pots because he's got a blue hat.
But while they were out, I was at home, obviously, nose to the grindstone, blogging and
scratching his bits on the sofa.
Yeah. and it was thunder and lightning.
So anyway, back to the question. So so thank you, Nick and Tracy, much appreciated. They're also asking, we like the look of Bolette. How does she compare to the traditional Cunard ships? Good question.
I have to say, what you've got to bear in mind about Bolette, it's about half the size of, what's the smallest Cunard ship?
Doesn't take over 2,000. Bolette's 1,370.
So it's about half the size. So it's really, really, really easy to navigate around the ship.
Yeah.
But obviously that does mean if you were on a massively long cruise, maybe you might tire a bit because there isn't that many places to go. But
there is, though.
There is. But even though it was slightly under capacity, the only time that we couldn't find a seat anywhere.
So Queen Victoria. People giving the passenger perspective. Bolette's got 1,300. Cunard, Queen Victoria, and Elizabeth have 2,081. So carry on.
Could you not wait until I'd finished talking?
No.
So the only time you couldn't get a seat was when the football was on and England was playing, and it was bonkers in the bar, to be fair. But other than that, we never struggled any time we were on there.
Our capacity was 1,070,
yeah.
So it was 200 under. But I felt that wherever you went, in the theatre, in the dining room, there was more than room to. And talking to other Fred passengers, because there was a lot of loyal Freds on there, and a lot of new passengers who said that they would definitely cruise with Fred again. They said that they've never had any issues with getting. So I think from a Cunard comparison. They're very much with, if you want, like with the old queens, like the teak decks, the beautiful outside space, the afters are very similar. They do a lot of insight talks, so that's very similar to Cunard. They've got, it's just a very traditional British cruise, like Cunard, isn't it? And they people do go on there and dress up. So we had 2 formal nights on our cruise, and 90% of people made the effort, didn't they? So there are a lot of similarities to Cunard. So if you like Cunard and Holland America, wasn't it? We were discussing, we said the similar to this was, I mean, it's an old Holland America ship. It was the MS Amsterdam.
What I will say is, obviously it's an old Holland America ship, but you can get a later beer on Fred Olsen, which we had a lot of people saying, oh, there's a lot of old fuddy-duddies. And I have to say, there is a lot of old people on there. The age range is definitely right up there with the oldest of the ships we've gone on. But I'll tell you something, they know how to party.
We went out of Liverpool, though.
Yeah.
And Northerners are great fun, aren't we? That was our first time out of Liverpool. No, it's true, though. People from Liverpool are very outgoing, aren't they? Gregarious. And we were talking to the entertainments team, and they say it's a very different beast when they sail out of Liverpool and then when they sail out of Dover and Southampton, because they also go out of the Tyne as well, don't they?
Newcastle is the word she's looking for, I believe. Yes.
And then one other port, and I forgot, it's gone out of my head, is Rosyth. There's 5 UK ports that Fred go out of.
By Edinburgh,
yeah. So, and that was interesting. The entertainment scene is always lively when they go out of Liverpool. And it was, they've got an observatory, which is right at the front of the ship, like a crow's nest. And the entertainment on board there was fabulous. And there was people dancing. There was always people there till 2 o'clock in the morning, obviously including us. Oh dear. So let's have a look at.
So that only took us 25 minutes to answer.
So let's go and see
the question about cabins.
So let me just go down here, because I've just spotted another super chat, and I want to obviously, if I can find that. Gosh, here it is from Kathy. So Kathy, thank you so much for congratulating making the courageous decision to do this full time. I bet you're a fabulous nurse, smart and great sense of humor. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, today is 3 years ago as I worked on my last shift. I started, lots of people have been asked about my career, so I'll say it now, is that I started my nursing career, I qualified in 1988, so I started my training in 1985, and then I worked in gynecology and urology, and then I decided that I don't know if nursing was for me, so I went and sold cars. Didn't last long, lasted about 2 months. And then I decided that I wanted to travel. So I then worked on cruise ships for just over 2 years. Then I came back to the UK and I was a sister on cardiology for quite a few years, for about 8 years, wasn't it?
You're talking really fast now, don't you?
Am I?
Yeah.
Sorry. I was a sister in cardiology for 8 years. And then the last part of my career, I was a radiology sister. So, and I managed 2 departments in Gloucester and Cheltenham. So I managed a team of 60. So I'm really proud of my career, but I must admit the last 5 years were very, very difficult. It's turned into a business. I think the emphasis has gone off patient care and more money. And I was glad that I left when I did, which is a shame because the NHS can be such a great place, but it's a
business that's not even being very well run.
No. So, but anyway, but thank you, Kathy, for that. I'm very proud of my career, and I've worked with some fantastic people over the years. And, I'm so pleased now that we're able to do what we do. And little did we know when we started this website and our YouTube channel that we now would be running it as a little business of our own, which is amazing. I'm meeting all you lovely people.
Yes. So also 3 years ago today, I was hid in a store cupboard waiting to jump out on Carole when she, I cannot believe that she fell for let's go in the staff room and have a coffee with her mate. And then when she went in there, it was full of all her peers. Are that the right people? All her peers. Is. And then I came in as well. And she was like, what are you doing here? I'd been hiding in a cupboard for at least 30 minutes.
And my fab friend, Debbie Tyree, wrote a lovely poem and everything. And it was just amazing.
It was a lovely
send-off. And I don't miss everyone that I work with, but I do miss some because I work with some fantastic people. Anyway, let's go back to some questions here then. Everyone's saying lots of happy birthdays. So let's see. Okay, I'll do that one in a moment. So Reese is asking, hi Reese, thank you for buying more of our produce, not produce, what do you call it? Merchandise. I just popped another order in, so thank you for that, it's much appreciated.
Carole gets very excitable on the lives.
I do.
And I think it's a bit of it's a sort of like a nervous excitement.
Okay.
And she's got that nervous excitement tonight, and that's why she's talking at 9 million miles an hour. So when the big key in her back, when that winds down to nothing, I won't overwind it.
What do you think for Reese?
For me, personally, myself, I think that if you look at the base prices of Fred, you can get an inside cabin reasonably priced, especially if you leave it fairly late. But the parity between an inside cabin and a balcony is massive. So it might be like 700 or 800 quid for an inside. It's going to be $2,000 for an outside per person.
For balcony.
For a balcony.
Not outside.
For a balcony, yes. This is why she's here, like, to correct me, which I was usually wrong. But when you get on there, what they do really well is, I know I put stuff on stories and all that and saying, you know, it's 15 quid for the specialty restaurant. And then I had people saying, oh yeah, but on Silverseas it's free. Yeah, but Silverseas isn't £900 for an inside cabin. It's £900 a day. So you expect it to be free. You know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so, and if you pre-book the specialty dining, it's £10 a go.
Yeah. So
the drinks package is £25 a day. The cheapest one out there that I know of at the minute, I think P&O's 45 or 50. Princess is 45 or 50. I know with Princess you get some extra stuff thrown in, but it's really, really good value once you're on there to do what you want to do. My only thing missing for me was in the drinks package. I'm
sinking below the
below the waterline. They only had 2 ciders, Strongbow and Somersby, which is 2 of the worst ciders on the market. And there's no bourbon at all on the drinks package.
There I am.
And there's only 1 cocktail on the drinks package, and that's the cocktail of the day. Now, that's the disappointing side of it. But on the plus side, if you've got the drinks package, and I think to myself, I get towards the end of the night, I think, well, sod it, I'm going to have a bourbon. They had 2 or 3 different bourbons that weren't on the package. But if you wanted that, say it was £4 for a bourbon, you'd only have to pay £2. And the mixers are all included anyway, because that's on your drinks package. So if you did want to go outside of your package,
like I did,
like Carole did, and she was getting Bloody Marys for £3.50 instead of £7, they sort of got you covered. But I would have just liked a little bit more. Yeah. You know, I couldn't have paid 50 quid and got a decent cider because they had Strongbow and they had Somersby. I think they had a fruit-based one as well, but there was nothing.
You drank lager most of the time, didn't you?
Nothing Thatchery at all.
No, not at all. I could just say thank you, Claire. A little something your birthday. Cheers, lovely. Yeah, thank you, Claire. Thank you for supporting us for all these years, and everyone else that's doing that too. So appreciate that. Reese is saying that's what I was reading. Has Paulie stolen Carole's cushion? She looks so down that someone asked a big question. The text will cover her face. So I'm back up. I've just upped my chair.
Got Ted Rogers watching now, mate.
Ted Rogers. What? Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, it's gone now.
Oh. Anyway, let's get back to the questions. So everyone's saying hello, hello, hello.
I'm a bit lower. Does that make you feel better?
So let's see. So here's a question from let's see. Carrie and Mike are asking, how are you going to cope with Gary Cruise not offering Thatcher's Gold? The only cider I see on the menu is Strongbow. So
I've sort of just answered. I'll drink most stuff, to be fair, and I don't mind a decent lager, and a lot of I'm trying to think, it's so long since we went on Celebrity.
Celebrity Beyond was our last one, which is 2 summers ago.
Yeah, and I'll drink bottled lager, or they will have spirits on the drinks package that I'll drink. But no, I won't. I'd just rather not drink than drink Strongbow, to be honest.
Yeah. No, Paul goes on, and if there's not a cider he likes, he just reverts to lager. Yeah, go to lager. And they had some good. In fact, in the UK, you would never drink Heineken or pick that. No. But the Heineken there was really good, wasn't it? Good, bubbly and frothy, and also what was the other one? The
Stella was the other one.
Yeah, Stella. But you would never drink Stella.
I didn't drink many Stellas because you've got to wear a vest to drink
yes.
Stella.
Oh. Right, let's have a look to questions. Lynia's asking, while in Norway, did you have a chance to try any freer milks? lodging it, yummy milk chocolate. We didn't. I kept on. I put some notes in my book and looking. We did go in a very wet Christiansen. We went shopping in the supermarket because that was one of the dry places, and we couldn't see any, could we? I mean, we didn't. We looked at lots of chocolate and lots of crisps just of price, but so no, we didn't, Linnea.
But I'm not
sadly.
casting aspersions on how good we were looking, but we couldn't get out of the supermarket. A man in the queue had to show us how to get out of the supermarket because we couldn't find our way out.
That's true. Mark H says, question, how likely do you feel that more cruises may depart from Liverpool? We don't know. There's been talk about the cruise terminal that a lot of our friends that live in the north have told us about, and they've been talking about it for many years. There is like a pop-up terminal when you go from Liverpool. You go into a big pop-up marquee, and then you go down a big sort of ramp, don't you? You
have to be a goat to get down. I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah, it is steep.
The ramp going down, and obviously the same ramp coming back up. You have to be a mountain goat to get up and down there. But what I will say, it was all very efficient. From the moment, if you turned up in a taxi or if you were dropping people off, all the car parking was really efficiently ran. Where you drop your bags was really efficiently ran. Everything, it was on a par with the one. It's usually Cunard. When we go to Southampton, which terminal do we go? Queen Anne.
Mayflower,
because that is just Mayflower. It just seems to be so efficient, doesn't it? Every time we've gone there, and I have to say that the Fred Olsen thing, that was on a par with that. But there's no way they could have more than one cruise ship in there with what they've got.
Well, what they got now, but they could definitely have a cruise terminal, and it'd be good to see more cruises going from the north, because it was only 3 hours for us to go to Liverpool from here, which was fine. But obviously, people, friends we've got in Blackpool and Lancashire, it's a long old trek for them to get to Southampton. So it'd be really good to see more cruise ships, and we would certainly go from Liverpool again. So, Sister Mexico saying hello from a warm Guadalajara. That's one of our favorite words, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
So it did look incredible. Yes, it was. So I seen that Morris was asking about. I've lost Morris' questions now. So apologies, Morris. Where's that gone?
Morris, up.
Slow
down.
There it is. Morris was asking us, do you watch any cruising podcasts? What's the best one? I don't, to be honest. I put my watch list full of people's videos to watch, and being busy, we never get around to watching a lot. And it's the same with podcasts. But I do know that there's two very good podcasts out there. There's The Joy of Cruising, which is really good, isn't it? With Paul
Thornton, and he's interviewed anybody.
Yes.
Who's anybody.
So, and also the Big Cruise podcast from Australia, isn't it?
Yeah.
With Baz and Chris. So they're the two that we know of. Our friends Cruising Canucks is just starting a podcast. So it's a big thing, isn't it, podcast? But
Emma,
people have asked us.
Emma and Gary Bembridge do podcasts.
Emma does it for her patrons. Okay. Gary does too. Yeah. But to be honest, we don't. Is the truth?
No.
So because we just don't have time to do that. So let's have a look.
I'm holding out for when they ask me to do the CBBS, bedtime stories, like they get all the top celebs in, don't they? So I'm just holding out for that, really.
Robert's here. We met. Robert, we met on Fred, so it's lovely to see you here. What a wonderful cruise we had. We did indeed. Can't wait to make another with the French very, very soon. Yes, and we were going to go on to them, aren't we? That we booked another cruise. So let's 5 more minutes, and we'll talk about that. So everyone's here. Dan the Cruise is here. Yvonne, Tony, so many people here. And in Carla. It's Carla's birthday today. Carla's one of our patrons. So many happy returns. So lovely to see you here. So made it just in time, and hello to everyone. Too many friends in the chat saying hello to it. Would end up being like an episode of the Waltons. It would. I
was in honor of it being Carla's birthday going to wear an orange shirt tonight, but I couldn't actually find one. But I definitely won't be wearing an orange shirt tomorrow.
Look at your book, Carole. Thank you, David. So the next thing we're going to talk about is we've been asked, many of you know that we've got a group cruise going in May 2025. We've also got a Patreon group cruise, which is going in April of 2026. We've had a lot of people message us and ask, are we going to do a group cruise in 2026? Because people say they've missed out on the one in 2025 because they're already booked up. So the answer to that is yes, we are going to be doing a group cruise open to the general public, and it's going to be September 2026, which may then go into sort of October, depending on what itinerary we pick. So just to let you guys out there, if you did fancy joining us one of our future cruises, our group cruises, then that's the time that we're going to be doing it. So if you did, then obviously keep that clear. So that's another one off my list. So thank you, David, for that. So let me tick that. So we've got that one, and we've wished Carla happy birthday as well. So that's all going well. So we'll answer a couple more questions, and then we'll go on to our next cruise. So Manish is here. Hi, Paul and Carole. This is Manish. We met on Bolette last week. I've read in for my niece's wedding. It's 23:30. Lovely. Yeah, Manish was great fun. So often in the observatory, very late at night with us, and doing some quizzes with us too, wasn't it?
I have to say, he was almost as bad at the quizzes as we were. And I'm sure he won't mind me saying that, but oh my Lord.
Yeah.
They had some serious. Most cruises we've been on, and this isn't blowing my own trumpet, I can't remember when I went on a cruise and I didn't win a quiz.
Yeah.
I can't remember when I've been on a cruise and somebody didn't get maximum score. On Fred Olsen, there was one quiz, somebody got 7 out of 15, and that was the winning score.
Yeah.
There were 12 or 13 out of 20, and you were golden, basically.
Yeah,
and
it was tough.
And whose fault was that?
Don't know.
It was Beth's fault.
Beth's, yeah.
Hashtag quiz bitch.
The entertainment team on Fred were just delightful, weren't they? Such a good laugh and really, really nice. So many good things about Fred Olsen and their entertainment, which surprised us the most. We thought it was going to be very low-key and not very good, if we're totally honest, and it blew us away. They had a what they call them, the theatre company on there, and they were fantastic.
Yeah. And they'd only been together for a few weeks.
Yeah, well, they've only been on board a couple of weeks. They've been obviously rehearsing at home. Catherine's just asking about the demographics. As Paul said, majority were over 60. However, there was lots our age.
We bought the age right.
But there was quite a few in their 40s, and there's also 2 families that we spotted, which we didn't expect to see. So yes, it is older, but we certainly didn't feel out of place at all, did we?
No, well, we are old. That's right.
Well, that's true. Let's have a look. So Mark said with Bolette being a small ship, going through the Bay of Biscay being bumpier. In theory, yes. We had a rough day going up past the Isle of Man, our first day, and we thought, oh my God, if this is going to be all like it. But actually after that, coming back down through Scotland, through the Hebrides, we had a little bit of a swell, but it wasn't very much at all. And the last day was absolutely really... back into Liverpool was fine.
But bearing in mind, we were on deck 7, which was the highest passenger deck, I believe, isn't it? So we were as high up as...
But I never felt at one point a little seasick like I did on Azamara. So I think it's a decent... I would happily cruise on any of the Fred ships, being the size they are. I would have an issue with going on smaller than that, like I did. I loved Azamara after our little blip. But for me, the ships are a little bit too small.
Yeah, because in comparison, when I said about Bolette is probably half the size of the Cunard ships, Azamara is half the size of Bolette.
That's right.
So...
yeah. So lots of people saying, hopefully I've answered that for you, Rebecca. Congratulations on your retirement anniversary. I'm jelly. Yeah, what type of nursing did you do? So you're a NICU. So fair play. That's awesome. Let's have a look what we've got. Sue's asking, does Bolette have single balcony cabins? No, they don't have. They've all got a big double bed in, haven't they? Well, they do have single cabins, but they haven't got single beds.
None of the solo cabins have got a single bed.
But they do offer solo cabins.
Strangely, they've either got a double or 2 singles, but none of them have only got 1 bed in, even though they're specifically solo cabins.
But if you wanted a balcony, you would have to book a balcony suite or a junior suite to get a balcony. Well, let's have a look, because there's so many questions here. Danger May said you just got back from Queen Anne. Wonderful time, a lovely ship, going again in October. Glad you had a great time.
Yes.
Hopefully, since we've been on, things are starting to sort themselves out. So that was and Manish is just saying about the observatory bar there again. Fraser's here as well. So obviously Fraser and Catherine and all these lovely people. Tony said it's pouring down in Edinburgh. It looks a bit better the weekend, doesn't it? And Joe said, so glad you had a great time on, Fred. We did. It was, we couldn't fault it. And we were looking. We were trying to be very critical, weren't we?
Well, that's sounds about the wrong thing to say. Sounds about the wrong thing to say.
I think we were looking, is there things that we thought could be done better?
But we never go out of our way
No.
I nearly drifted into something then for some criticism we had, but Carole said I'm not allowed to say it. But we got some criticism. I won't say where from, but it was so. Oh yeah, they're bloggers, so they're going to say everything is great. And then in the next statement, they said, yeah, they were on Queen Anne moaning about everything. And I thought, well, are we saying everything's great, or are we moaning about everything? But anyway, I won't name names, and Carole's giving me the look. So
anyway, there's always some people out there that are gonna just focus on all the positive people that surround you. Don't focus on those negative people. Anyway, back to the questions.
So, but we never, to the point I was trying to make, I went on a tangent. We never go out of our way to try and find fault. When Carole said, "Oh, we were really trying," we weren't really trying. We were doing exactly what we do on every single cruise we go on. And if we think it's good, we say it's good. And if we think it's not good, we'll say it's not good.
But often I think, well, could this be done differently or better? I think that's just my nursey head. That's how it's sort of programmed.
Yeah, but you're not a nurse now. That's long gone, mate.
Well, I know.
You're not even qualified anymore.
I know. I've let my registration slip. Well, not slip. I didn't renew it. Yeah. So, but there we are. It's gone.
You're just a Joe Nobody now with no qualifications.
Oh, okay. So CJ Stone just asking about looking at doing a first cruise with company would be best for a first time cruise with a young family. I would suggest that you would go and have a look at all the bloggers out there that cruise with their family, like Cruise with Amber. I would look at Cruise Mummy, all the people that I'm thinking off the top of my head that actually go with children, because we're not qualified to say. I could say that ship looks nice, it's got a water slide, but I have no idea. Yeah. Cruise Boys are another very good one. They travel with their little boy, didn't it, Josh? Yeah. So mate, go and have a chat with them and get to know them on their social media, and I'm sure they'll be able to answer all the questions for you. Let's have a look. What else have we got? So, gosh, so many questions. Have you had occasion to tour the brig on a ship, either willingly or unwillingly?
That's the jail, honey.
No, we haven't. Oh. Joe saying, would you sail at Liverpool again? Yes, we would. It was just so slick. And obviously, we met you, Joe, and we had a Patreon meetup the night before. We had a lovely time. So, and Liverpool's a happening place, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a fantastic city, a beautiful city. It's got some really remarkable buildings, doesn't it? So, yes, we definitely would go out of Liverpool. And it wasn't too much of a pain for us to travel up there. So, let's have a look. Mandy's asking about tips on Fred. It's £5 per person per day. So, and we've talked about the drinks, I think, haven't we?
It's £5 per person per day. And what you can do is you can fill out an opt-out form if you wish to tip as you see fit. Mm. But you do have to fill a form out. But
yeah.
Hey, it's your choice.
Daniel's asked about the entertainment. Hopefully we've answered that. It was absolutely superb.
Yeah. And I have to say, and what they had is not just the fact that they did 4 what I'd like to term production shows during the week, but they had guest artists on. They had an excellent singer on called Bruce Anderson, who we had a few beers with. He was a lovely bloke. They had
David, he was like an illusionist.
And he also did an enrichment talk about how not to get pickpocketed in major places, which was really interesting. And they had your resident bands, and they also had a guest band which does a month on, month off. But right across the board, from the solo singers, they had a string quartet-y thing, they had a 5-piece Filipino band.
Who was superb.
They had the more I think about it, the more
it was excellent.
Tons of
excellent. Ken goes cruising saying that we fell in love with Fred. We thoroughly did too, didn't we?
Yeah,
it was excellent. I think this is a good place to let you know about the cruise that we've booked, because obviously when we've been on the ship 2 days, and it was nothing to do with us having people say, oh, you were in a premier suite, which we were thankful for, and it was a great experience, but it didn't change our experience around the ship. And I said to Paul, we need to, within 48 hours of being on board, I said, we need to book another Fred, don't we? Because It was just such a good experience, and it felt like a bit like I said about going on Morella, putting those comfortable shoes on. It just felt like home straight away, didn't it? And just so chilled and lovely. And we were talking to, obviously we talked to our friends like Dan, our travel agent, and Ken and Lindsay. And Ken and Lindsay have got a group cruise coming up in 2026, and well, I've got a
26,
yeah, 26.
Ooh.
And I said we
and
got
when
to,
Carole said she was discussing booking another cruise, as normal, I was just going like.
So we're back on Fred with Ken and Lindsay and their group cruise. So go and check it out. As you can see here, we've got a group cruise here, April the 14th on 2026. It's open to everyone, but we can't wait to get on board, and we booked. So we're excited about that. We're also looking at what Fred Olsen do, which I haven't seen any other cruise line do, is they do mystery cruises. So this year there's one in November, and next year, 2025, there's one in December, and you don't know where you're going. And to me, I think that's awesome. So you're on there for 7 days, and if you're going out of Liverpool, you're either going to be going north or south, aren't you?
You ain't going to Hawaii.
No.
Which, in all fairness, every cruise Carole goes on is like a mystery cruise, because she goes out the cabin and she starts walking. I said, "Where are you going then, mate?" "Oh, I'm going the wrong way again." And I'm like, yes.
So that's another Fred that we're looking at. So with no doubt will we be cruising with Fred again, because we had such a fantastic time. But if you want to join us and Ken and Lindsay in 2026, it's just after our Patreon cruise, isn't it, actually? So we get off in Southampton. We have about 4 days at home, and then we get off Cunard and we get on Fred. So
get home, do the washing.
Yes, back out, sorted. So let's have a look back to the old comments there. So that's another one I've ticked off my old
We just have a look at my list. Don't forget to go through the book.
Yes, I'm doing it.
That's mine ticked.
Let's have a look. Yeah, Pip saying Love Bolette, great food service, loads to do, just great. Yeah, the 2 specialty restaurants, they've got Colours and Tastes, which is Asian, and they've got Vasco, which was Indian. I know, it was amazing.
Indian,
both brilliant.
Now, what I have to say as well, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, which I've said a bit when we did some Instagram stories and stuff. We were on for 9 days. Each specialty restaurant changes their menu 3 times. So when you go on, you don't just say, "Oh, yeah, I'll book that for Tuesday then, mate," because you need to look at the menu. And there was definitely menus that suited us. We did Vasco twice, and I have to say we preferred both times. The food was fabulous, but we preferred the first menu than we did the second menu.
Yeah.
And the third menu wasn't particularly up our street. Colours and Taste, I can't remember what the second and third menu was because we ran out of time, but I have to say the one we chose, oh my God, it was
it was 2 of our favourite things.
Absolutely.
Paul loves shredded chili beef. I love Massaman. Well, we both love both. Yeah. And they had it, and it was spectacular. The food throughout Fred, I think there was only one meal that we had, and I kind of think we were like, well, that was okay. But the rest was absolutely fantastic. They do a fantastic afternoon tea as well in the observatory that costs £13. And that's a proper white glove and with views over the bow of the ship, and that's beautiful.
But they also do afternoon tea in the buffet as well, which is FOC, but obviously you serve yourself.
Yes.
So don't feel you have to go and pay it. But yeah, right across the board, I can even tell you, I had a meal which I were underwhelmed with, and I had I can't think of the word now, the meat plate. Charcuterie plate. And there was various pieces of meat, and the one piece of meat, now maybe I'm being... Fred can come down on me too hard because I bigged him up because it was fabulous. But the one piece of sliced meat, you know when you see in the supermarket and it's like a round piece of meat and it's got like a picture of a teddy bear on it, and you put it in your kid's sandwich.
Like Spammy.
That's what this tasted like, this one piece of meat. And the other bits on there, so you had some sort of, you had some bologna, pastrami, type, whatever. But it was all a little bit dry.
Yeah.
That was the only complaint I had about the food in the entire 9 days that we were on there. And I do have to say, because we were busy, we probably ate less on there.
Yeah.
But what we did have
was fantastic.
Was banging.
And service.
It was so good.
There's if you see my post or sort of a wrap-up post on social media, service on Fred was exceptional. It was a well-oiled machine. You could see and feel the staff were well cared for. Talking to the staff, they were very loyal to Fred. They were planning to stay, and they all said that they were part of the Fred family and very happy. And it was evident, wasn't it, throughout the ship?
Totally.
And that was just so lovely to see. And you wouldn't even get your bum on a seat in any of the bars, and someone would be by your side to get you a drink. The service was just spot on, wasn't it?
Even when I read something on social media, and you can take everything with a pinch of salt, I know, but somebody was on Ambassador, which we haven't done yet, and I would give it a whirl, to be fair, if it worked out right, whatever. And they went on there, and they spoke to somebody and said, "Oh, will you be showing the football?" No. So you got the Euros on. Now, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, and it doesn't make you a bad person that you don't want to watch it, or me a bad person that I do. But bearing in mind now that all these cruise lines, there's a channel called Sport 24, which is available to all cruise lines, airlines, everything. It's been like quite a game changer for getting sport onto cruise ships and the like. Now, what Fred did, instead of saying no, Fred embraced the fact that the Euros is on, and they had, obviously you had the Euros and you had the start of Wimbledon, so they had these displays up, you know, whether it was like tennis rackets or footballs or whatever. And then when England played, they didn't do it for every game, but when England played, not only they put loads of extra chairs on, they put an extra venue on, and they put a great big buffet on in the pub as well. And I thought that was like such a good thing.
Yeah.
All the staff were dressed in sort of football-ish type shirts, but not from any particular country, so there was no favoritism. But it was fabulous. You didn't have to wait for a drink. There was food there. They really, really made the effort to keep as many people happy as they could. And I thought that was really good.
And the officers and captains were very visual around the ship. Yeah. You would often bump into someone and they would always stop for a chat. And you don't see that so much now, do you? And it's like going back in time and going back to proper traditional cruising. And we loved that. And I know we're a little bit older, we're nearly 60. But it for us, the more that we cruise, I do like to try out these new ships with a bit blingier and stuff, but the essence of cruising is Fred just has got it in spades, doesn't it?
I couldn't agree more. Yeah. You know, and that's why I say having stairs going up to wherever and it's £10,000 a step, it don't make the stay on the ship any more enjoyable, does it? Or having the bumper cars or stuff like that.
No, but some people like it. It depends what you like. You know, we're all different. I'd say Anna Mike's enjoy London Scott and have a drink on us. Thank you. We will.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to start going back up now because I'm lost where I am. So let's have a look here. Nick was asking the questions about booking with the TA, but it looks like Dan's already answered that.
I hope so.
Lou's saying, so Lou's here. So love to see you, Lou. Vikings $25 a day for drinks package with both passenger cabins must purchase. So that's good to know.
Oh, yes, that's very good.
Stephen's asking, have you travelled inside cabins? We feel it makes a massive difference. We have, and we are. Our next cruise, we're in an inside cabin. So stay tuned because we're going to be announcing our next cruise next week because we're actually cruising next Thursday, aren't we? Well, we go away next week. So our live next week is again on Tuesday. So make a note of that. But we're in an inside cabin. So Striker Maguire, do we love that name? I guys should do a shout out to all your followers who are cruising on Britannia from Southampton next Friday. Have a fab time for all you guys that are doing that. Frank and Jen from New Mexico, from a very hot New Mexico. Did you have a favourite meal on Fred Olsen?
Well, yes. My favourite meal, I had two favourite meals, and this is going to be quite random now. My top favourite meal was the crispy shredded beef I had in the specialty restaurant. It was absolutely fabulous and one of the best crispy shredded beefs I've ever had in my life. And then the other was bangers and mash.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. The man who makes the mashed potato.
Yes.
I'm just saying like a right Philistine now. We didn't know nothing about dining. The man who makes the mashed potato on Fred Olsen deserves a knighthood. We were just saying, Mr. Mash has done it again.
He's done it again. He had the most buttery, cheesy mash wherever you went. I want to bring up the seafood buffet, which isn't advertised, and it's on a lunchtime in the buffet. And it was the last day, and we happened upon it. So, and they have crayfish and prawns and mussels, and it's all included in the price.
Lobster.
I'm not sure. I thought it was big crayfish rather than lobster, but it's the
crab claws.
Crab
claws.
crab claws. So it was fantastic. So the food was fab. Raymond's asked about accessible cabins. Yes, we did see some, and we will be showcasing those.
We've got a
some
video
partial accessible.
Yes. Yeah,
so
we'll get those out to you as soon as we can.
Henry's just saying, Carole's nursey head and Paulie Morgan's smarty pants make for even thoughtful critiques.
Smarty pants.
Sharon said, totally agree what you're saying. I've done 38 years so far. I've seen many changes. Sadly, not too many for the better. No, it's really sad to see, isn't it? I keep in touch with a lot of my nursey friends, and they're really struggling. It's quite a toxic environment, and it's just so sad to see that, because when I trained and the majority of my career, there was a real sense of teamwork, and you would just do anything to support your team. Now people just go off sick at their whim. They just have that. They don't have that team ethics, which I think is sad. And some do still, but it's rare to find. So,
and this is your quote for the night, then. And as a man once said, and I want to know who this man was. There's no I in team, but there is an I in meat pie.
Tina's just saying, why do you
know the answer to that?
An I in meat pie. Pie's got an I in it.
Yeah, but who was the man that said it in the film?
I don't know. Why would I know that?
Okay, sorry.
So Tina's one of our members, and I often share in our Discord group if someone's put a mean comment. We get mean comments, not all the time, to be fair. We don't get as many as a lot of people. And my attitude is just to sort of just read it, share it with our members, and then block them. And Tina's just saying you should leave the comments so we can answer. And I thought, so is that a healthy thing to do? Should we leave them? Maybe we should and see what happens. I don't know. But sometimes I think any negativity, after working in the NHS the last 5 years, which was full of a lot of negativity, sadly, any negativity now, I just want to bounce it away.
It just brings you down.
Because it just brings me down. So, Sarah, Gail and Mike, we want to say thank you so much to Mike, because he came to wave us off. Sadly, Gail was working, and he did an awesome time lapse of Bolette, which he sent to us that we can put in our videos. So thank you, guys. And hopefully we didn't get a chance to meet because it was all a bit too, we planned to meet up with our patrons and members. But next time in Liverpool, we'll definitely have to meet up.
We would have had a bit more time, but on our drive up, I've never seen so many cars on fire as driving up
and home.
And on the way up, there was a car on fire. The fire brigade was there, and the fire was that bad that the adjoining field, even though it was on the motorway, was on fire as well. And then on the way back, there was a caravan on fire, and it must have just caught fire. And without exaggeration, we were in the third lane, so we're closest to the Armco. And this caravan's on the hard shoulder, the other side. And when we drove past, Carole could feel the heat off the fire. And there was no emergency services there, so it had only just happened. And it was, God, I've never seen a fire like that.
Scary, isn't it? Horrible.
I mean, hopefully
thankfully the person was out.
They managed to get out quick enough to unhitch the caravan and drive away from it. But yeah, it was like, so we got held up several times going because it was just like, seeing like, there's cars like, I can see smoke up ahead again. And there was
another car on fire. So John and Nancy are asking, we're taking our first cruise on Celebrity Apex this week. When we go through the North Sea, should we take Benin as soon as we get up, or just wait? Take it. Always take it in preparation. If you're susceptible to seasickness, prepare yourself. Don't wait until it's too late.
Yeah, because if it's in your system, then it's going to...
Blind Man Cruising just saying they've only just started doing podcasts, but I presume you meant podcasts. So good luck with that. Will there be a limit on the capacity for the 2026 group? We're talking about it because obviously it went a bit crazy, didn't 2025? So we're going to have depending on what itinerary.
Like we've done it already.
No, I know. I can't wait. I can't wait. Not long now.
Can you remember when it was 2 years away? People going, it's 700 days. Well, how many is it now? Is it 300?
Let's have a... Football Crazy saying you still don't have to pay for bright lights. That's good to know on Queen Anne. So thank you so much for that. Ken's was cruising. Does the difficulty board in Liverpool mean it will be a problem for disabled passengers? No, they are given assistance, but it's there were people on board that were in mobility scooters, in wheelchairs, and on walkers, but they are given assistance to get on board.
Yeah, you wouldn't. There must be an alternative route, I'm assuming, but obviously people we didn't see anybody because the ramp coming back. To give you an idea, the ramp is so steep that when you're coming back, if you've got hand luggage, they put your hand luggage on a conveyor belt. So it just sort of takes you back to when it was like the Generation game, but you got everything on the conveyor belt because you'd put it on there in the first place. So there was no cuddly toys, was there? But it was so steep. It was, yeah, but they must have had an alternative for anybody with accessible needs.
Let me just pop back up to where we were now, I think.
No, I know Carole wasn't listening to any of that because she was reading.
I was.
What did I say?
I don't know. John and Nancy, congratulations on a wonderful career. My mum was a nurse. I'm so proud of her. Oh, thank you so much. Let's have a look. Harold's asking, what do you think of morale in 2024, especially the prices? Prices have gone up, but we've been keeping a close eye on the prices. And if you do book closer to sale date, they are coming down, aren't they? So we've been having a look. But yeah, I think they have overall gone up. But you still can get that bargain. So keep looking for those. Jane's asking about early or late sit-in, or is it just a personal choice? Love the channel.
It's a personal choice. Now, on Fred, it was the first time that I can remember that we did a late sit-in, which was 8:30. And we usually, if we cruise with friends, family, whatever, we usually do the 6:30, 6 o'clock, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And then it leaves you the rest of the night free. But it just, on Fred, it didn't work out that way. But we only did 2 nights in the main dining room, which was the 2 gala nights. And I have to say, I felt sorry for our waiters because they were fabulous. And they must have thought to themselves, well, have we done something wrong? Because they've only come twice. But it was superb both nights.
I quite enjoyed eating later because we always go for the early option. And that actually suited because we didn't feel we missed out. Sometimes when you've got dinner at 6, you've got to go and start getting ready at 4:30, 5. And that was, I find that a little bit frustrating on our... on Queen Anne, because I was like, oh, I want to stay and I want to say this, want to watch the sunset. However, the sunsets in Norway on Fred didn't happen till
it didn't set at all, really.
Midnight, so that wasn't an issue.
Oh.
But I think, you know, in future, I do prefer to eat a bit later.
All it is Carole's trying to keep you at the midnight buffet.
Well, it does stop that. It does stop that. Oh, Cruise Boys are here. Hey, greetings from onboard Viking Jupiter with Bob and Holly. So can't wait to catch up. So I hope you're having a fantastic time. Yo here, Kevin B. Carol's pace of talking today makes a New Yorker feel at home. Check the notebook.
Hey, buddy.
Yes. Right, so the other thing I've got in my notebook is just more. There is more. So just so for those that you don't know, we're currently airing our Japan tour that we did with Riviera Travel. And we want to just say that if you haven't seen it already, we've got 2 videos out. One's about the first hotel that we stayed in Tokyo. And then we've got a vlog about our first 2 days in Tokyo, which was absolutely fantastic. And this Friday we've got, which I've just finished editing, which I'm going to upload and share with the patrons after this live, is, well, it takes about 2 hours to upload, doesn't it? But so it's either tonight or in the morning.
What am I going to do for 2 hours while she's uploading?
Then that'll be out on Fridays. For those who don't know, our videos go out on Friday at 6 o'clock. So that I've ticked off everything.
That's
so
it.
Thank you, Kevin B.
Good night, then.
No. So let's go back through because so many other questions here. Tracy B says so nice to catch you both live. Fraser's saying he had to check he wasn't watching 1.5. Right, I'll slow down. Now, Peter Clare. Now, I've seen a comment from you, which I didn't see, but you were one of the group of 100. There was from, I believe it was from a bank, wasn't there? There was a group on there, and you said that everything else was spot on and that everyone in your group enjoyed it. We spoke to so many passengers, didn't we? And I asked them all the time, what do you think? Is this I asked about 5 questions. Is this your first cruise? Would you do it again? What have you done before? Would you cruise with Fred? What have you liked and what you haven't? And nobody had any complaints, did they? And that was great.
That was Carol's experience. I spoke to a load of passengers and they said, have you caught any fish yet with that big long pole?
Yeah, because Paul had his 360 out, and that got a lot of
only about 10 times a day.
And we got the lovely couple, and I've forgotten their names. How old was this again? The lady and gentleman in the moustache that sat at the
Don't
back.
say the lady and then go like that.
Because they were great fun, and apologies, I've forgotten your name.
They were
brilliant fun.
They were touting for business all the time for us. We
ended
up every time we got anywhere near them, they'd be like, yeah, that's the two there, the bloggers, you need to watch their channel. So Carole said, well, I might as well give you some cards to hand out.
Yes, they were lovely.
They were big Man United fans, but we won't know that against them.
Exactly. So Jill's just saying, hi guys, always enjoy listening to you. At the moment, packing for our cruise on Carnival Friends out of Long Beach on Thursday. Oh, lovely. We're hoping to get to California next September. That's the plan, isn't it, Paulie? Right. So we're going back down again now. Let's have a look. Thank you for the birthday wishes. So many birthday wishes. So let's have a look.
You pass one.
Lots of about seasickness of going out cruising out of Liverpool, because it is quite rough, isn't it, by the Isle of Man? It's quite notorious. And I'm not sure if I've shown that before, but about Liverpool. So, and Fraser, only 302 in the chat, but only 404, only 44 likes. Give us a thumbs up, people. So we've got 377 watching it. Yay! Give us a thumbs up. So let's have a look. That's back. And Mike said, sorry, they had to pause for a phone call. Well, Lynn said she'd love to come on our 2026. We've already booked Silver Sea French Polynesia. Oh, nice. Shut up. Yeah. Millie said, if you book specialised restaurant, if you get the Fred, do you book which night you want? You do?
You do, yeah. Well, obviously, what they do now, I don't know what the pre-booking situation is, because obviously we didn't pre-book because we got all our paperwork very late in the day. And when I say very late in the day, we got it actually after we got home from the cruise. I'm not even joking.
No, but we did have it.
So we couldn't pre-book anything. But when we got on, we were enjoying our first beverage by the pool. And this nice lady came up from Vasco and said, would you like to book Vasco? And she showed us the 3 menus, and we said, well, obviously, number one choice is this menu. And she said, well, right, well, you can only do this menu tonight, tomorrow night, or the night after. So we did it the first night. And then we did the same with colours and taste. And then we booked the one we wanted. And then she told us when that would be. So you can't say, I want to go Wednesday, but I want that menu. You have to have the menu. So if you want to go Wednesday, that you have to have the menu that's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Or if you've got a particular menu, they'll tell you the days that's available.
Ken's just saying they were great with the rugby as well. They really embraced the sport. So if you enjoy sport, Fred's great. They've got 2 big screens. They've got the morning light bar and lounge. So they've got 2 big screens in the bar area, but they also put up another big screen in the lounge, didn't they, for the football? Yeah. And they had TVs behind the bar
as well.
And also they got a great auditorium on Bolette, which is a fantastic area where they do sort of cookery demonstrations and things like that. And they had the football on in there, didn't they, with bar service? So that was good too. And that's where they show films. So they got that's where their cinema is. Cheryl's just saying, which is really useful, so thank you for that. If you can't manage a steep gangway, it can be taken to the ship by minibus to avoid the ramp. Because it's titled, it varies how steep it is.
I knew there would be a way around it.
Yes.
And now I come to think about it.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
I do recall that when we went into the area to check in, they had, like in the corner, they had people with accessible needs, and they were in one area. And I'd imagine that's why. So then they would have been taken out and put in a minibus. Life of the Parts. So Steve says, hello, see you here. Sounds like Fred did the football right. They did. They did. It was fun. Jackie's rubbing it in. Look, Jackie Spice Brown dealing with a heat wave. So just got out of the pool. Oh please. Football Crazy asking, was the food court buffet, was it help yourself or did someone serve you? They serve you. The only thing you served yourself was the desserts. Everything else they served you. So I don't know why it wasn't across the board with you. So with the desserts, you had an ice cream area, which they served you. But then you had all your desserts, which were plated up, all your little cakes and what have you. And then you always had every meal a hot dessert and custard or creme anglaise if you're posh. Lynn's just asking, are the set times of the main dining room allocated specific table? Yes. Yeah. Yes, there is. We had 33, didn't we? had 33, yes, 33. Which was a lovely table for 4, which was just laid for 2, and we had a window view, didn't we? So that was really, really nice. Mummy Sunshine said, I'm quite new to your channel. I can just say thank you and love you both. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Paul and Louise are saying, have you ever been to Cobh or Cork? Yes, if so, we have. Any suggestions? No.
Yes.
Because the reason we haven't got any suggestions is when we went there, we've got some very, very good friends who live in Mallow in Ireland. And when we went to Cobh the last time, they came and met us at the port and we went to the pub. So if you want to do that, but so we haven't really got any suggestions.
No,
but
they've got the Titanic Museum there, haven't they?
That's Belfast.
No, they have got some Titanic
Cobh
in
as well,
Cobh, of course it is,
oh,
because that's where it went past.
Oh, okay. So everywhere it went past, they got a museum.
I think so. So Jill said, "Did you to the poolside bar and grill and Bolette? We really enjoyed it. Did we try the fish and chips?"
We didn't. I had fish and chips in the buffet, and it was fabulous. I didn't have the fish and chips at the poolside. I had eggs Benedict the one day because they do a later breakfast, and I had a ploughman's lunch, which wasn't bad at all. And you had a burger.
I did have a burger, and I had.
Did you have avo or something? Avo on toast or something like that?
Yes, I did. So let's have a look. Dawn's got umbrella for Christmas, so that's have a fabulous time. And Sarah again, Mike saying about the tide, so that's helpful. Tracy's asking, we've been asked this question a couple of times, and Dan, our travel agent's trying to find out. He's messaged Riviera because we've got a lot of people that watch our Japan videos that are now interested in booking, which is brilliant. So we are finding that out. So as soon as we know that, we will let you know. Raymond is saying, question after saying, due to Maggie's tablets, doesn't know how to eat spicy food. Do you think we'd let her have plain food if I paid for both? Now, it's funny, we asked for the opposite because when we were because we love spice, and we said, can you spice it up? And their answer was, no, we're not going to spice it up because it'll spoil the flavors of the food. So I'm not sure if they would be able to do that because they would cook it how it's presented and if the spice is in it, so I'm not sure.
What I will say, and this is what we got told, and it's nice to be educated. When we went to Vasco the first time, I had a vindaloo, and they did spice it up for me, actually, if you remember. And they told us, and I've got no reason to dispute it, that a vindaloo normally isn't
spicy,
blow your head off. And I said, oh, really? I said, well, can you spice it up? And they said, yeah, we can spice it up a bit. But what they won't do is they won't spice something up if it's going to ruin the flavour. So if you'd have had that without any spice in it at all, I would imagine they can do. I'd be very, very surprised. All they want to do is make things as palatable for everybody across the board. And that's what I liked about the specialty restaurants on Fred that I didn't like about specifically the Indian restaurant on Queen Anne, where not at any point, and bearing in mind there were 7 of us and we all ordered pretty much different things, not at any point did the waiter say to us, do you want it spicy? Do you want it mild? Do you want it this? Do you want it that? It was like, what do you want? I'll have that, please. And he wrote it down. And that, I feel like you're on a bit of dangerous ground then. And sure enough, when it came out, it was as bland as eating a Jacob's cream cracker.
But I think go and speak to them because I think the cruise lines, they're always willing to they would get it from somewhere else perhaps. So I would just go and say.
What I can tell you, because we watched them do it, everything is cooked fresh in Vasco because it's cooked behind where the buffet is.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's all pre-packed and once it's made, what you see is what you get. Everything is fresh.
Yeah.
So if you just said, look, I really can't tolerate any spice.
And I think if you've got any special dietary needs, don't be frightened on your first day to go and see the maitre d' in the main restaurant and say, look, we're really concerned. We've got this allergy or you're vegan or whatever it is. And they'll say, look, actually, this is what we've got to offer.
Every single place we went, including the poolside grill, have you got any allergies?
Yeah. And dietary requirements.
Every time we went anywhere, they asked you that.
Dan's just saying as well, currently there's only, people are asking about 2026 cruise. Currently there's only our members cruise booked so far. We're just waiting for itineraries, but we just want to say that it's going to be in September, sort of toward possibly going into October. Just so if you did want to join us, then you don't book anything for those that time. Lots of people saying happy birthday, so thank you so much. Striker's asking who's on your money, Spain or France tonight for the football?
Spain.
Ooh. Stephen's asking, have you travelled from Dover as we cannot, and somewhere it seems more expensive than sailing from Southampton? I don't know why it's more expensive. It might be something to do with the docking fees. We don't tend to choose Dover because for us, it's the other side of the country. It's right on the east coast and we're towards the west. It's easier for us to go to Liverpool than it is to Dover.
But we have sailed from Dover.
But we have sailed from Dover, but it wouldn't be our first choice.
On Saga, wasn't it?
Yeah, on Saga, yeah. So let's have a look. Where are your glasses from?
Glasses shop.
Glasses shop. No.
Is this
What's
me
it
or
called?
It's called the
Vision Centre.
in
Yeah.
Gloucester.
So.
Oh, Carole, she wasn't talking about mine.
No, let's have a look. So, is there any other questions that we got to answer? Let's have a look.
It's 109 degrees in Vegas.
It's 109 degrees in Vegas. Oh my gosh, that's just mad, isn't it? Oh, so we've got weather still here is just pants, isn't it? So so anyway, but I think we've gone over the air, aren't we, Paulie Morgan? We hope we've answered all your questions about Fred. We had an absolute fantastic time. Do you want to add anything more about Fred?
I'm just trying to do stuff now and see if we can get anything to come up and thumbs up.
I think with Fred, if you are looking for a traditional cruise that's on a smaller ship with just 1,300 passengers, you're looking for good food, you're looking for the entertainment team that's on there currently are fantastic. And if you love quizzes and all I'll tell you what they did have, which we've never seen on a ship, was bar billiards.
They are bar billiards, but when we chose to play at, we were in a bit rough seas, and anybody who's ever played bar billiards, all the balls were moving around the table, and there's 4 mushrooms that you have to stand on the table, and if you hit those over, you lose your scores, and they were falling over more than they were upright.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely needs to be played in port. Anyway.
Yes.
Anyway.
It's 120 degrees yesterday in Los Angeles. Oh my gosh, that must be mad. But anyway, so thank you everyone for joining us for our live. It's good to be back.
We've ticked everything.
I think we've ticked everything off there. Just need to do that after.
We've done all our jobs.
So thank you so much. We're going to be live again next Tuesday, and we will see you then.
Yes,
anything else to add, Paulie Morgan?
No, just for tomorrow. Come on, England.
Yes. Well, yes. But the final will be on my birthday in Scotland.
Oh, what a treat. What a treat.
So Sean I don't think Sean and Elaine will think that. Oh, anyway.
I'll bet you Sean will put an England shirt on for us.
No, you won't. Oh, dear. Anyway, thanks so much